Mike and I recently spoke at UCF, University of Central Florida, our alma mater, to all of the business students there, talking about how to make your first million in your 20s. Now, whether you're 20 or not, this is a good one because I go into how to make your first million online, which is through three things: one niche, one channel, and one audience. If you focus on these three things, it's gonna make getting to your first million super easy and breezy. So enjoy.
Meta, they have like WhatsApp and Instagram and Facebook, and trying to make sense of cohesively using one or multiple platforms.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah, those are all really good. Good job, guys. So those are really good topics. We're going to go through a lot of those today. Unfortunately, we only have an hour, so I wish I could spend all day with you guys. But I'm not really as much about teaching. I'm more about doing. So I want you guys to go do something after this. Don't just sit here and be like, oh, that's cool, Caroline, but then not have anything to show for it after. So can we please promise me, right, you're going to go do something today, okay, with the knowledge that you received today. And not only that, there are some specific things that, some people in the audience ask for, like specific marketing techniques. We can't get too much into specifics. If we have a lot of interest in the audience, then that's great, then we might be able to, but we're going to go through a lot of like foundations, solid foundations that without a doubt you're going to need in order to hit $1 million. Are the mics working?
Yeah,
they're good? Okay. Sweet. Bam. All right, awesome. What's up, guys? So I'm Caroline Castile. Nice to see you. It's a little hot in here. That's okay. It's Florida. This is my partner in crime, fiance, Mike. We both have made millions of dollars together and apart. We're really excited to show you guys everything that we've learned from the time we were at UCF, became entrepreneurs, to now. I graduated in 2015. Mike, you graduated the same year, right?
No, I graduated in 2018.
Okay, 2018. Yeah. So there we go. And that's it. So Mike has a cool story when he was a senior. So I'll let you go ahead and start off with the intros.
Yeah. So as a senior in college, this was end of 2016, going into 2017. I had became really obsessed with learning digital marketing and dropshipping and e-commerce. And during my time at UCF, I was able to figure out how to run Facebook ads, how to build an e-com store, figure out how to market to a female audience. And I grew my first e-com company from 4 guys in our apartment with no understanding of marketing or ads or anything. And before I graduated, we had been doing over $2 million. So while a senior in college, I was able to basically take something from absolutely nothing and grow it within a year to be making more than some of my professors did. I was making more in a single day than they have done in a single year.
So Mike basically started a Shopify store, sold women's clothing with 5 of his buddies who are all dudes, like a Fabletics Shopify store. Started that, made $2.1 million in his senior year of college here at UCF. So if you didn't believe that you can make $1 million in your 20s, you can now, because you see him. There you go. He's wearing ripped jeans too. So anyways, so as I said, my name's Caroline. I graduated in 2015 with a finance Spanish degree. Right in college, I actually, the Joust, you guys definitely should do that, because I actually won money too doing the Joust. I started my first business when I was at UCF, did dance shoes. I eventually sold that business. While I was running that business, I got into venture capital, built one of the biggest venture capital groups in the state of Florida, raised $20 million for a lot of startups here in the state of Florida, and then sold that business in 2018. Then started our marketing agency, Clickable Impact, which turned into now a venture capital marketing and distributions company where we own and sell brands. So it's a really exciting life, and Mike and I are business partners, and he's my fiance too, so we're gonna get married this year. Yeah. And we both met in this community, actually in this room. So So it can really happen where you can meet your business partners or the next people that are going to be in your next walk of life, you know, in whatever regards. So, yeah. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about, let me get my handy dandy notes, is sales. So a lot of people raise their hand. They want to make $1 million today. But we always like to kind of start new entrepreneurs with a definition of business.
Yeah, so just who can tell me what is business? Like, what is that?
What does business mean?
Transactions.
Yeah, you got it right.
Bam, dang.
Transactions.
Hit me up later. You're getting $100 on Venmo. That was good. We've never had somebody actually answer it correctly.
So a lot of businesses that we talk to, people who are in startups, they're so focused on the product itself, right? Where they want to make sure the product is perfect before bringing it to market. Maybe they'll have a tech company or they have an app or whatever it is. And they don't focus on the fundamentals of what a business actually is. So if I said, hey, I did business with this person, that means that we did a transaction together, right? So the business is the transactions. So business is sales. You need to have sales. If you don't have sales, you don't have a business. You have a hobby.
If you don't have sales, you can't raise investor capital. It's really hard for people to actually believe in your business, right? If you don't have any sales, right? You're trying to get business partners to believe in it. You're trying to get more people to buy your product, right? So you have to get sales. A lot of inventors, like let's say you invent a product. I've had a lot of inventors come to my venture capital group and say, oh yeah, my venture is worth, $50 million. But you have no sales, So what is it really? It's an invention is only the napkin it's only worth the napkin you wrote on it, right? Because it's not doing anything, right? You haven't proven it works in the distribution. You haven't proven that it works in this market, at this price point, at this sales channel. And you guys see that on Shark Tank, right? Who watches Shark Tank? That's a very simple business model. A lot of people are coming with consumer products, goods, right? Some people come on there with zero sales. Maybe some ideas are crazy, right? But they come on a Shark Tank and they're like, oh yeah, we have $5 million in sales or whatever. That way, as an investor, it works, right? What's next? Anybody have any questions so far?
And the simple formula on how to do it?
Value, yeah.
Yeah, you do it. The value equation or?
The value equation?
No. One product.
Oh, so in talking about sales, I think the most important part that keeps people broke and keeps people from actually making $1 million, maybe you only get to $100,000, $200,000, $5,000 in sales. I think the one thing that keeps people from getting to $1 million or more is focus. And focus meaning you first want to find a problem. A lot of people think of a solution and then they fall in love with that part and then that's it. I got this cool bottle cap and this bottle cap's going to cure cancer. This is it, guys. This is it. But instead of focusing on the real problem, which is cancer, they focus on the bottle cap, and then it's just a shitty product that they're trying to sell and then maybe it makes $100,000 because they're really trying to push it, but it really doesn't go anywhere, right? So what you really want to focus on is this simple formula. It has to do with 3 things, okay? First, you want to focus on the audience. And once you get the problem, right? You want to focus on the audience. Who can I help? And who can I help the most, right? So let's say we have this really cool protein shake or whatever, right? It makes you lose weight. Okay, well, we can sell that to moms. We can sell that to gym rats, right? People that love to go in the gym. Mike and I are in the gym every day, right? We could sell that to policemen. We could sell that to any niche, right? We just have to come up with the value prop, and it has to be a problem that we can solve, right? But the type of audience that you sell is somebody that you can help the most, okay? So who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it over and over and over again? Who's going to pay the most for it? And I think not a lot of people really go through that. They just kind of fall in love with the first audience. Oh, yeah, we can sell this to policemen. You know, the best protein shake for policemen. Well, why did you pick that over moms, right? Because moms, they control 75% of the housing spend, right? So why wouldn't you do moms? Did you do the research? Did you think about it? Did you really like go through and ask questions about it? Yes.
So if you have two niches and you find that maybe they both sell like a lot, like they're basically the same, how do you determine which one you want to focus on?
You wanna take that?
Which one is going to be the easiest to target? That's one. And which one's going to be the one you can sell it for a higher price to, make the most margin? It all comes down to like profit, right? How much profit can you make? You're in business to make profit. You're not just in business to make sales.
Yeah.
So that's how we would decide it. So for example, let's say we're selling protein bars, right? One group of audience, I could say that these protein bars or whatever product is good for everybody, right? But it's not. It's better for one group than another group. And that one group that it's better for may pay higher price for it because it's specifically for them. So you want to be specific with who you are actually marketing to, because if it's more specific, you can charge more for it. So let's say you're doing tutoring, right? That's a very simple service that anybody can understand, right? But if I just say, hey, I do tutoring, what are you tutoring for? Is it reading? Is it Spanish? Is it for medicine? What is it? What are you tutoring for, right? Or I could say, let's say that I'm tutoring for Spanish, and you are willing to pay me, let's say, $10 an hour to tutor you in Spanish, right? Just so you can pass a class. But let's say now I'm tutoring lawyers in Spanish, so that way they can get clients, right? The price point that they're going to be able to resell that service for is much higher. So now I can sell them a higher price. They'll pay a higher price because it's worth more to them. So you have to think about like the levels of that. Who is going to be most benefited from this service that you're providing, and what will they be able to do with that?
Yeah, so to make $1 million, and we almost need a new market here. To make $1 million, you need three things. One product, we talked about that. Obviously, find the problem. Then you need the audience. One audience. I didn't say three, right? We're only working on making our first $1 million here, okay? We're not going 8 figures yet, okay? Just focusing on $1 million. The next thing, right? You need one audience. Who wants to take a guess at the third thing that you need to make $1 million? That comes later. That comes later. Marketing is later? Kind of. Think a little bit more laser focused. Remember, guys, we're doing
Channels?
Sales channels. Marketing channels, sales channels. You need one. He said it with an S, right? Sales channels. We're doing one. We are getting married to one sales channel. Notice how I said sales channel instead of marketing channel. Marketing is only a piece of what needs to happen. Needs to be a channel where you can get the same amount of inputs to get the same amount of outputs, right? So if I put $1 into Facebook ads, right, and I get $10 out and I know I can get that, and I've been doing that for 90 days, that's what I mean by a sales channel, right? If I do 100 calls and I call doctors' offices to sell whatever service, right, to doctors, and I know I can book 20% of those 100 calls, I can make 20 booked appointments, right, and then close from there 10%, right? That means I can close 2 doctor's offices out of 100 that I call. That's a sales channel, right? Okay, outbound, that would be called outbound, okay? Facebook ads and paying for Facebook ads, that's inbound marketing. You're getting an inbound lead. Yes?
No.
That's what you say? You're
Over
giggling.
there.
Here's your coffee that I've been drinking. Questions, guys? So the main thing of this, right, is you need to focus. Whatever you've been taught in school, right, all these theories and stuff, they're great, but if you really want to make $1 million, you have to be disciplined. If you keep, let's say you really find a good product with a good audience, protein shake that you sell to moms, that you try calling, right? You try calling mothers associations or something, right? But then you're also trying Facebook ads. But then you're also trying Google ads. But then you're also trying these things, right? You're never going to get anywhere, right? Of course you should test things, right? But once you make a test and then you're like, oh, we're not making any money on this, right? Then go to the next sales channel until you know something's working. But when you see something's working, keep doing more of the same. Keep doing more of the same. I'll show you a case study that happened right here at UCF. I met a student at the Joust. He was getting his PhD in water desalination. His name is Danny Whalen. And I met him 4 years ago, right? 4 years ago, and he showed me a golf tee. We don't even have the product, right? We don't have the product on. He showed me a golf tee. This is not a golf tee, but
Close.
it's close. And I'll show you in white because we only have it in white. Okay? We took this golf tee, which this is not it, but you can go on flightpathgolf.com if you want to check it out on your phones. Flightpathgolf.com. It kind of looks like a vertebrae. We said, hey, we'll work on this with you. We'll invest in it. Let's do a test. So what we did was we launched it online. We closed down all the other sales channels. He was at PJ Superstore. He was on Amazon. We said, hey, no way. We're going to focus on all those things. We're going to close everything down. And we're just going to focus on one sales channel, Facebook ads. Okay? Why do we choose Facebook ads? Mike and I know we have a marketing thing. We have a whole marketing arm. We know what works. We said we're going to go heads down, focus into that sales channel. And that was the end of 2019. We launched a new site, January 1st, 2020. We launched the new site on flightpathgolf.com. And by the end of the year, we made $1 million in sales. Okay? When I met him, he had made $7,000 in sales in 2 years with the golf tees. And we had only been selling on one channel, Facebook ads. Okay? Now, fast forward. This is 4 years later. And in 2023, we started, oh, that's a picture of me right there. Look at that, it's still there. Fast forward a few years later, we're still only selling this one tee. But now we've opened up new sales channels to get into the multi-seven figures. Now we're on Amazon. Now we're working on retail. Now we're selling in Canada, Europe. Still one SKU, one product, and one color. And by the end of last year, we were able to do $6 million in sales with this one product. Not even launching multiple products. We were just launching new sales channels. Yes. 2020. 2020 is when we acquired the company. Yeah. Any questions? So that's a powerful story of what happens when you just focus on one of each to get to your first 7 figures. Okay? Don't complicate it. Your business is going to have natural complications. Every day when Mike and I are working with the team on FlightPath on that specific portfolio brand, we're working on just who do we have to shut down on Amazon today because they're infringing on our utility patent. Okay? Which distributor are we going to work with next? Who are we going to close next? Dick's Sporting Goods, Walmart. Those are all very complicated things to solve, right? And imagine if we had several different products to figure that out with. Okay, so focus is the name of the game. One product, one sales channel, one audience. Any questions? Yes.
As far as like the sales channels go, with the day and age that we live in, which I guess like a recommendation would be, I guess you would deem it like inbound, like your Facebook market or like Instagram, those, or even TikTok. I know that's getting really popular now, getting a lot of traction, because I know a couple of content manager creators in that space. So you said like only focus on one, but when you have like Meta that kind of encompasses, they have like 3 child.
Facebook ads are it's one sales channel.
So like
it's still one sales channel.
Distribute upon all of that as well, like.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, it's all so.
It's all one.
Facebook
thing.
is like one channel, TikTok is another channel. Snapchat, a different channel.
What I mean by one sales channel is, let's say you're running Facebook ads, but we're also like calling golf pro shops, right?
Oh, okay, right.
That's like a completely different sales channel with different complexities that now we have to test and spend resources on, right? So if we don't have one sales channel that's really working, that's at least generating 7 figures, then we gotta just figure out how we can marry ourselves to one.
Okay, and just to follow with that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I know I don't know if you guys still do it or you still recommend the calling and the outbound. So which one would be like better recommended? With like doing the ads or making like the you know, door-to-door sales type?
What's your business?
So, well, I have two. So one I have, it's a Caribbean clothing brand that I use more to bring awareness to Caribbean cultures. That's where I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. And it's to bring the awareness and kind of like help funnel money back into the Caribbean to help our own economies and stuff and just bring awareness to that. The other one's just a fitness and nutrition brand.
What do you sell for the fitness and nutrition brand?
It's more like more of a network type company. So I'm developing a platform where people don't have to search internet to get their stuff. So for instance, apart from me selling my own coaching and fitness, I have like 3 tiers. So one's a business side, one's a nutrition side, and
So it's like service-based.
Right, and you come there and all of your information, like if you want to start a business, I give you like all the layouts where you need to go, DUNS number, all that stuff like right there. Instead of having to scour the internet, you give you everything right there and all your resources. And people that are in that industry, you can connect with them, all of them right there, instead of having to search on who you can talk to.
Yeah.
So.
And your question is outbound more worth it or
Right.
running ads and getting inbound leads?
Right.
So I would say you need to find one business and focus all your energy into one, because we've tried early on to have multiple businesses, and what happens is they both don't make any money.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you have all these businesses that don't make any money, right? And if your goal is to make money, you need to focus on just one thing, because the people who focus on one thing generally make a lot of money, if that's your goal. You know?
Yeah.
So.
And then use that first business as a stepping stone into what you want next, right? So Mike and I have the marketing hub, right? The agency, the venture capital, the distribution company. That thing, right, was our stepping stone into Flight Path and other portfolio brands. But that thing had to work first, right? And it first started with service-based business, right? So we do email marketing for brands all over the world with our agency. That was the hub that allowed us to both find the brands, right, and help monetize them too. So
yeah, I'd say a service-based business is the easiest to start and to execute and to sell, because it doesn't take a lot of capital to get started.
Takes
but
zero
it's the
capital.
highest margin for return on like time. Right? So I can go and sell a service for a few $1,000s per month, and my overhead cost is basically nothing, because I don't have to buy product. It's just my time to provide that service, or I have to hire somebody to provide that service for the customer. Right? So a service-based business, if it's your first business, is the best one to start. If you did what I did when I started with drop shipping, I didn't buy product up front. All I had to learn was how to run ads. I needed to learn how to make a website, how to make ads, and then I needed to figure out how do I get product from one person to another person online without me touching it. That was very complicated. It was also extremely risky, because I had to put my own credit card up, spend money on ads with no hopes and returns, like that I was actually going to make a return on investment. And then I also didn't know if the product was actually going to get to my customer. So it's very, very risky.
Open the doors. It's hot in here, right? Let's open the doors.
It's a little spicy.
Whew. Yeah, let's just get open. I'm hot. What? Brittany was like fanning herself too. I was like, I'm hot.
Yeah,
We're talking loud enough, right? You guys can all hear us. Okay.
Yeah, so service-based business is what you want to start with. If you guys do have a product company, like if you want to probably sell somebody else's product first before trying to start your own product, because starting your own product is actually the riskiest, because it's a lot of involvement. Finding a supplier, having to build a relationship with that supplier, make sure that there's Q&A so that way the product doesn't get destroyed or is not incorrect. If you need to buy inventory up front, so that's very capital intensive. And a lot of people who start with a product-based company, they usually have to find investors because they don't have a lot of their own money to invest into it.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend starting with that. Start service-based first.
Yeah, and to answer your question for 5 seconds on like which one's better, every channel will work to a certain degree. You have to figure out which one is the most profitable and also most scalable, you know. But for a clothing product type business, it's very eye-opening, eye-catching. Our preference is online, you know. That doesn't mean you can't just get a bunch of retailers too. So you kind of have to test it out, you know. And then for the service-based business, I've seen it work for running ads and doing like Facebook ads or doing outbound. I've seen outbound be the most profitable though, because you're not paying for anything up front other than probably the data, right, to call leads, things like that. One more person thing.
What do you mean by like
Starting a service business? So starting a service business, so like what we did, we started a marketing agency. So because I knew e-commerce, digital advertising, I took that skill that I learned and we said, hey, we can go do this for other people, other e-commerce businesses that were struggling. So for example, right now we run an e-commerce email marketing agency. So we'll do email marketing for e-commerce businesses to generate them sales, right? So a service-based businesses that you guys can do is, let's say there's a restaurant. There's tons of restaurants around this area who have difficulty getting people into their doors, right? And these restaurants would probably pay you to host an event to bring people in for a specific reason, whether it's to watch a game, whether it's just a meetup, a networking thing. And you can tell them, hey, if you pay me, or you can say, hey, I'm going to bring all these people here. Everyone's going to get paid $10. Everyone's going to pay $10 to come in. I'm going to take all the door sales, and then you get to keep all of the food and whatever sales. And I get to market that. Or you can charge them a fee for that, to bring a whole bunch of people in.
So, well, I'm confused. How does that work when you're starting out? Are you like giving the advice yourself, or are you getting a bunch of people?
You have to decide the business model yourself.
Yeah.
You know, do you have a business partner to do the work, and then you can do the sales, right? You have to decide.
So there was when I was in UCF, there was a service where these kids would rent buses on Fridays and Saturdays, and for $10, and then they would ship everybody downtown and back to UCF for $10, right? And they would try to fill the buses, and then they would that was a service that they provided,
Yeah.
right? Just transportation from here and back safely.
Yeah, so like a service-based business, the reason why we're always proponents of like if you're like a first-time entrepreneur, service-based business is the best because you have no huge outlay, like capital outlay. Like you see all these software companies like Spotify and all these crazy companies raising millions of dollars and they don't have any sales to show for it. That's because the software takes a lot to build for what they need to do, right? But a service-based business, you don't really need any huge, you don't need to buy millions of dollars of golf tees. You don't need to spend a marketing spend because you can just call businesses yourself by looking on Google Maps. You don't need to hire anybody because you could do the work yourself, right? When you scale, then you can hire people. And then you can learn if you mess up or if you have a customer that's angry or whatever, right? You can learn those important business lessons that you need to learn on the service-based business. And then when you need to do a bigger business or whatever stepping stone opportunity you get to on the next business, then you already know how the inner workings of business, right?
Oh yeah, like so a business that anybody here can do and they can learn in probably just one weekend is taking awesome photos with your iPhone or any phone and going to these different like restaurant businesses around here and say, hey, I'm going to take awesome product photography for you for X dollars.
Yeah. Also, what I would do too, there's plenty of like handymen, pressure washers, people like that that are not good at marketing. They're not good at marketing. They're not good at sales. If you just look on Thumbtack, who has a Thumbtack app or any kind of or TaskRabbit, you know, all of those types of businesses, they're not good at marketing. You could just start helping them sell, and then you could take a percentage of all of those sales and have them perform the service. You know, that's something that takes you no cash and just a little bit of time to do.
I had a friend who started a moving company in college, and what he would do is he just got a whole bunch of his friends. He put a bunch of flyers out, because especially around UCF, every quarter or every like semester, people have to move in and out of here, right? But not everyone wants to do it themselves. So just for a few bucks, you know, you can say, hey, you're gonna pay me, and I'm gonna have a whole bunch of people come and pack up your stuff and move it out for you. And that's what he did, and he started growing it, and now he has like I think like 5 different trucks now that he actually owns.
So you want to think simple, right? This whole map that we just gave you guys to make $1 million, this is very simple. It almost is stupid simple. You need to make it simple for yourself, right? Because once you get some sales and you know what channel, baby, what's happening next? You're hiring people, right? Then you got to train them on how this works. If it's rocket science, nobody's going to be able to learn, then you're stuck again, alone, okay? The reason Mike and I can now not only operate one multi-million dollar business, but many, is because we have a lot of very smart people that work with us, but also very simple businesses. That's easy to communicate how things work, create standard operating procedures. Hey, we do this thing, then we do that, and that, and that, and that, and it's all written out, and then we just sell the golf tees or whatever we're selling, right?
So, I wonder if anyone's read the book.
Tell them. What,
All right,
the
well,
100 million?
Yeah. Has anybody ever read $100 Million Offer? You have?
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so you probably would know. So, Alex Hormozy, he's an awesome guy. We've heard him speak like live a few times, but he says, he has this quote. He asks, if I were to give you a hot dog stand and you can have one competitive advantage, what would you want? You know, would you want the best selling hot dogs? Do you want the most condiments? Do you want the most options? What would you want? Any takers?
Best hot dog.
You would want the best hot dog as your competitive advantage?
So the question
Best
is, if you
location?
had for the question in the back, the question is, if you had a hot dog stand, what's the best competitive advantage you would have if you could pick one? So you just invested $100,000 in a hot dog stand. What would it be? How would you sell the most hot dogs?
Best tasting hot dog.
What else? Okay, best tasting location. Best channel.
Cooks.
Best cooks.
Best cooks. The best, you say the best channel too? The best marketing, the best experience. Anybody else? The most loyal customers. You're getting warmer.
So the answer is what everybody wants, is you want a starving crowd.
A starving crowd, a starving audience.
So like if I can have the best tasting hot dog, right? And that's great and all. I can have the worst tasting hot dogs, but if I put my hot dog stand outside the college football game when it lets out, I'm going to sell out all my hot dogs. They can taste terrible. They don't care because I have a starving crowd. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You want a product or service that people desperately need, not want. Because if you sell something that people just want, then, you know, that's, all right, I want it, but I don't need it. You want to sell something that people need.
Yeah, so back to our protein powder analogy. We have, you know, we could sell to moms that want to gain muscle, policemen that want to gain muscle, you know, like who's the best audience? You have to think, you have to do the research. Who's going to pay the most and who actually needs it, right? That's your starving crowd, you know? So if I did a protein shake that gains muscle, it would probably be policemen over moms that want to gain muscle, right? So simple things like that.
When you did Click Impact, how did you outline your email marketing as a need to clients?
Oh, yeah, so
That's a great
when we
question.
first started Clickable Impact, we started as full-service digital marketing agency where we did your ads, your emails, your landing pages,
Everything.
your product packaging. We did everything. And the problem with that is, like we went back, right? The business is transactions. So people would hire us to get them all the sales. They basically outsourced their business to us. And they didn't want to pay us to do that. And we didn't want the headache of running their business because it's not our business. We don't own it. We don't have equity stakes in it. Like, it's not my business. I wasn't looking for a job. I wanted to provide a service. So consistently over the years, we noticed that our email marketing service consistently brought great returns, for our clients was simple for us to execute and had the best return on investment for everyone. Easy to track return on investment for the client, easy for us to execute, highest quality service, and less headaches on our side.
So you would just use the case study to say, I did this for X company, I could do this for you?
No.
Correct.
Well,
Yeah.
actually,
We just
we're so confident, we made an offer that says we'll do it on performance. So we'll do it, we'll take a commission from all the sales that we bring you, we're just gonna take a commission from that.
Yeah, so that's another good point there, guys. Everybody who's writing down notes, write down $100,100M space offers. $100 million offers. Some people have read that book. If you haven't read that book, that's an amazing book to read. If you want to make $1 million, you're that much closer to it if you read that book.
Yeah, you need an offer, our offer was email marketing on performance.
This book is all about making an offer that's so good that your prospects feel stupid saying no. Okay? So if I come up to this bro and I'm like, yo, I'm going to do all your email marketing. You're not going to have to pay shit, right, for your clothing brand, and you're just going to pay me commission. How would you feel about that? It makes you feel stupid saying no, right?
Like, why would I say no to that?
Right? So you want to make an offer that makes them feel good about their business. Our offer for our golf tees, what's our offer for our golf tees?
What do you mean? Oh, so we have
What's our Godfather offer? Yeah.
It's the only golf tee ever that has an arrow on it, so you can aim in the direction that you want to hit the ball. And it's the only golf tee proven to increase accuracy and distance. So for golfers, that's what they want. They want accuracy, distance, and they want something durable. So we created the product to say that, and that's how we market it.
Yeah.
And we're the only one that does that.
Do you do that in the pro league? Like, can they use that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. It conforms to the rules of golf. It has all the
USGA
certifications and all that other stuff, so they can use it. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, how much for one unit?
Yeah.
And what do you sell it at?
Yeah.
So
Great question.
We sell a pack of 8 golf tees for $20.
Yeah. $19.99
The most expensive golf tees on the market.
for 8.
For 8 of them. 8 pieces of plastic. And it costs us $2 to make. And
Yeah.
we sell...
We could talk about margins as a whole nother workshop. Tell the Blackstone people we go through that next workshop. Whatever you
Yeah.
guys want to learn about.
And we sell a lot of them. Hundreds of thousands of units.
Yes. Yes.
I have a question. In the long run, would you say a product or service is more easy to scale up?
It depends on what you want, right? So Mike and my goal is a net worth of $50 million by the time we're 40. So we have about 10 years. All we need is enough sales, enough exits to get there, right? So for us, it's product-based businesses are what we have chosen. However, right? However, you can scale a service-based business and make way more profit faster. Because a product-based business, we have to sell 10x more of anything as far as capital to make the same amount of profit in a service-based business, right? So you have to kind of pick your battles.
So I would say to get started in entrepreneurship, a service-based business will give you the biggest bang for your buck. You get the most profit, it's easier to do, you don't have to rely on tons of people to execute. Scaling a service-based business, very difficult.
Yeah.
Scaling a product-based business, very simple.
Product-based
but harder
software.
to start.
Yeah, very hard to
Right?
start.
So you got one that's easy to start, very high margin, hard to scale.
Yeah.
You have another one, hard to start, but once you get it going, very simple to scale. So like last year we went from, like the year before, I think we did like 300,000 in sales for the golf tee, and then the next year we did 6 million. Right, just hockey sticks right up, and it was only because we increased traffic and sales channels. Those are the only two like levers that we pulled.
So you guys didn't like better the product or change it or anything?
Nope, same
Nope,
product.
We just opened more sales channels. So the first year we only had one through Facebook ads. Then we spent a couple years just opening new sales channels, like tons of them. We didn't even spend time on marketing because we knew we would get that back. Then last year we just spent a bunch of money on just a few sales channels, our main ones, and then all of the halo effect, the free organic traffic, because we were spending on the main sales channel, just brought in all the extra profit. Like our Amazon store, we don't spend any money on that, and we made $1 million just on Amazon in gross profit. In gross revenue. Very high on the profit too, yeah.
Any advice on, so not the actual concept of the business, but like, I guess the legality, people start LLCs, but then, I guess you start making money, or don't make money, whatever it is, like taxes you have to think about, maybe even insurance, like any advice
Yeah.
on how the best way to start?
So I wouldn't start an LLC until you've done at least like $20,000 in sales. Because if you're not, one, the IRS isn't going to come after you because you don't make any money. It costs them more to come after you than it would. Like, they're not going to get any money out of you because you don't make any money. No. But also, if you haven't done at least 20,000 in sales, do you really have a business concept that you've proven yet? I can sell, let's say I was selling just a pack of golf tees to each one of you guys, right? I'd probably only make a few $100s. Right? But then trying to be able to duplicate that would be very difficult because now I don't have the same group of people here. Right? So you want something that's duplicatable. And so any business that you make, if you're just selling onesies, twosies, and it's very difficult to duplicate, then I would say you're probably not ready just to start the business, LLC and everything, because you can still file for taxes like personally as a sole proprietor, right? That you made all this money selling this stuff. But once you want to incorporate, we're talking about you're basically just telling the government, hey, like an LLC, a business, it's a legal person on paper. That's all it is. It's just saying, here's the entity, the person that you're going to start taxing. That's all that you're doing there. You're just removing the liability off yourself, and you're saying, hey, this new entity is going to take on that liability. Oh yeah, a lot of hands.
Oh, go ahead.
My question was about the sales channels. When you first start and you say to do one sales channel, one product, one audience, how long do you guys wait before testing another sales channel in case the one you're using isn't really?
Hard to say. A few weeks at least. Yeah, a few weeks. Like, give it like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would say you have to really
and like a certain amount of volume.
Yeah, I would look at them like, have I done everything I can on this channel to prove that it's not it?
Yeah.
Well, and typically we'll start with the audience first, and we're like, where does my audience hang out?
Yeah.
Right? So like, all marketing is communicating a message to an audience. You're not trying to trick them into buying your thing. You're just trying to tell them that it's here. You guys ever see a sign on the road where people are like window washing or they're like roof inspections or whatever? Like, it's just a sign. Right, a lot of them are like tax signs, whatever. It's just a sign on the road, right? All they're doing is communicating a message to somebody who has desire for that product or service. That's all you're trying to do. You're trying to communicate your message clearly to your audience. So where are they at? Are they on Facebook? Are they on YouTube? Are they listening to certain podcasts?
Yeah.
Are they just walking around? How do you get the message in front of your audience?
So to make a good test, like it's time, but it's also volume. So you want to test a certain amount of volume, meaning let's say you're testing outbound and calling people, right? So you have multiple variables that you need to test. One, it's the data, right? Where you get the data, how good it is. Let's say you're starting on Google Maps. You're going to test that data. You're also going to buy some data from this website, right? Is that data good? The second thing is, how many do you need to call? Let's say you call 100 people, right? And then you determine from that, do the percentages work out to where you can actually close one? Are you making enough profit? So that's one sales channel that you need to test. And then decide what's the amount of volume.
When Caroline says data, she's talking about phone numbers and emails.
There we go. First name, last name, email, phone number.
That's what she's saying when she says data.
And let's say for inbound, if you're doing an inbound strategy, Facebook ads, keep going back to that, but there's so many, then you need to decide how much do we need to spend, not are you willing to, because we're just seeking truth here. We're just seeking data. We're not doing any emotional things, right? How much do we need to spend for how long? Let's say, $100, $150 a day, for 3 weeks. We're going to spend that on 3 different ads, and we're going to see if it works. And if not, we're going to try something new. completely new.
Yeah, so like Facebook ads, all the ad platforms are designed to work. They're designed to get you sales.
They need it to work. They want you to pay them more.
That's why these companies are worth billions of dollars. So if your ads don't work, you either are selling a product that people don't want, right? But if you're convinced that people want it, you've done your research, then you're probably not communicating the value of the product or service effectively to get somebody to take action. So you have to think about it. Are you communicating the message appropriately? And are you getting it in front of the right person? Yeah.
What are good call to action statements you say would work well?
Buy now.
Just buy now.
Depends on what you're selling, right?
Like, let's say for a marketing service, like you own a marketing agency.
Learn more.
Learn more?
Learn more.
Increase my revenue now. You can always, what I like to do too, other than buy now, obviously make it shorter, but whatever the transition process that the customer wants. So for our customers at our agency, they want to make more revenue or more profit. So that would be what you'd put on the button, right? Increase my email revenue now, or whatever, right? So you can put the transition process in the button.
You're communicating the transition from where someone's at to where they want to be, right? So in our case, we have people who are struggling to scale their e-com store, right? And then the transition is with our service, they're going to have a lot more profit, so that way they can spend on Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
Yeah, saw your hand?
So I was wondering, just to go back to the marketing aspect you said, to make it like so wantable that they feel stupid not to take effort. So like how do you get that message across? Like, how do you formulate it in that manner?
A promise?
What do you mean?
You got to make a bold promise. What's your bold promise?
Yeah, so in $100 million offers, he talks about that. How do you make one statement, right? That's what you're asking. What's your guarantee? So there's different parts of the guarantee that you want to make and the offer. A lot of times it's like some kind of action, some kind of outcome, right? And a lot of people make it time bound. So like we want to increase your sales in 90 days, you want to lose weight in 90 days. And increase your sales would be the outcome, But he talks a lot about that in the book too.
Okay, yeah. So I think in the book, he has his equation for value. It's an equation. So value equals dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement divided by time delay times effort and sacrifice.
You gotta write it out. It's a whole equation, babe. It's a whole equation. Here you go.
Value.
Now we're getting into rocket science, guys.
Equals.
Do you feel your $1 million biceps tingling?
Dream outcome. I can't spell.
Yeah, I can't spell, so FYI. You can still make $1 million and not spell. Isn't that great to know?
Perceived.
Hey, I like her. That's what I do too.
Over time. Time delay.
This is a whole nother concept that
times
could take a whole nother hour, but we're gonna cram it for you guys, like we're cramming for a test right now.
Slash sacrifice.
This came out of the book. This is directly in the book, guys. And if you just Google it, Alex Hermosi, $100 million offers, value equation, you'll find it immediately.
Dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement over time delay times effort and sacrifice. So the example he uses in the book, he uses meditation, right? And Xanax, which is a drug that helps people reduce stress. One is worth billions of dollars, the other one is not. And the difference is what's in here, right? And the reason why is because the dream outcome of stress relief, both achieve it, right? Taking this pill achieves it and meditation achieves it, right? So those are both the same. Perceived likelihood of achieving that outcome. I believe that with both, we would still achieve the same thing. Deep meditation and taking the pill, we both feel that we would be able to get there, right? But the difference now is time delay and efforts and sacrifice. So now the time delay of deep meditation, I probably have to do what, an hour or 45 minutes of deep meditation to achieve my stress release, or taking a pill, 30 minutes. Effort and sacrifice. Finding a place that's quiet for me to get into the mental state to actually go ahead and start meditating, very difficult. Effort and sacrifice of taking a pill, I just have to take it, drink some water. Right? So because of these different effort and sacrifice and the time delay to achieve the dream outcome is why the pharmaceutical industry is worth billions and billions of dollars, where there's really no multi-billion dollar meditation company. It's because of those things right there. And if you look and you really think about other like companies, you'll find that they have a similar like structure.
Direct response. There you go, bro. This is how you're going to make your one-line statement of what your offer is through the value equation. I know it's not going to get you it right now, but you build it over time too. It's not something immediate. It's something you have to test in front of your prospects. Because if they're not like this, like, oh my God, if they're like, then you know you're not there yet.
Yeah, so you could be like 6-pack in 16 weeks or your money back.
Yeah.
Right? The dream outcome in a certain amount of time, and then that's the bold promise. Yeah.
This is a curiosity question. Before you guys kind of like hit it big, what was the last job that you held down?
So I've had like an internship. Had an internship at Jarden Consumer Solutions. They make coffee makers, hair clippers, blenders, all that other stuff. So that was like the job. The last one before that, I worked at Dunkin' Donuts.
I did 6 internships throughout college in real estate and worked at the sheriff's office doing crime analysis, just figuring out what I wanted to do. And then I started as an intern at the venture capital company and then eventually became a partner where I had equity stake and all that. So.
The crazy thing is, it seems like you guys hit it so big, so like, it's like, I'm visualizing a transition. Like, unless you hit it super big where you can say bye-bye, like, it's just like a slow glow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, think about, when I graduated, it was like almost 10 years ago. So, it does take time.
Yeah,
Everybody says overnight success, but it takes years.
So,
6 years ago.
This question isn't too broad, but why did you become an entrepreneur? Why did you guys start companies?
So when I first, and this is a good segue into a quick thing about business partners that we want to talk about. I started my first business with my best friend. We actually met here at Latin Rhythms, which is, I don't know if it's still around, but it's like a salsa dancing club right here. Still here. And we would always dance, and I hated wearing heels. And she loved wearing heels, but I thought they sucked, so I would wear these flat shoes, any flat shoes that I could find that kind of look cute that I could dance in. And so we basically started a company. I didn't realize that I was an entrepreneur then, but I realized it was just a lot of fun. And there's so much personal development and just the grind. Like, I would go from, sketching stuff till 2 a.m. or on the phone with China at 2 a.m., sleep, and then up at 7, go to my internship, and I was just the happiest camper ever, just on the grind. It was a lot of fun, and I realized, like, what better than being with my best friend, traveling, making dance shoes. Like, it just sounded so fun to me, and it was like, why wouldn't I do anything else? I had the best internships. I worked at Pepsi too, their leadership development program, as an intern. They were ready to hire me too. I had other good opportunities, but it was just so fun, and you just become like a new version of you all the time, like being an entrepreneur. Because you go through so many challenges. Like, we talked a lot today about like our wins. We have a ton of L's, like, all the time, guys. Don't get me wrong, like, we have Temu that's knocking off the golf tees every single second, okay? So we're battling them, and we shut people down on Amazon all the time. 1 minute.
Yeah.
So we go through a lot of shit too.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is going to be the most risky and the hardest direction you could possibly go for your career. It's not easy. It's not glamour. It's glamorous once you make it. There's parts that are glamorous, but most of the time you're getting kicked in the teeth the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? So I've my first business that we made $2 million in 1 year, it went straight up and straight down. had to file for bankruptcy, lost everything, had to like basically sell my soul to try to get cash again. But I had all these skills, right? So like you win big and you also lose big, but that's also part of taking risks. So
Yep.
if you, the more, I think there was a quote by this billionaire. He said, your level of financial success is directly correlated to how much financial pain you're willing to take.
Yeah.
Right? And when I was a senior in college, I had to think to myself, what is my worst case scenario if I lost it all? Right? And for my scenario, it was like, all right, I sell all my stuff, I file for bankruptcy, I destroy my credit, I'm going to end up having to move back home with my parents, probably live with them for 6 months, find a job, and then try to get back on my feet, right? So that's like a 2-year, like horrible, like worst case scenario. And to me, I'm like, all right, that's not terrible compared. I don't have a house, I don't really have a kid or children or any main responsibilities, so I made the decision to risk it all, and I lost it all. But in that short amount of time, I gained so many skills. I was able to start a marketing consulting agency right away, and I was able to get back on my feet faster than I ever thought. And, and then within 2.5 years from filing for bankruptcy, I was making millions of dollars again, because I had gained all those skills on such a condensed time frame. So the younger you are, the better position you are to risk and to recover. But the older you get, it's much harder, because now you have financial responsibility. You have other people who need you to provide for them, or you have a mortgage. You can lose a house. Like my scenario wasn't like that. I didn't have anything to my name, so losing everything, I didn't have anything.
And then I told him while he was filing bankruptcy, I was like, we could date now. Perfect.
Yeah.
So guys, don't worry about losing the money. You can still find women. It's fine.
Yeah. Life continues regardless if you're broke.
Life continues.
But what you don't have is time. Time is your most valuable resource. So don't be afraid to take action, take risks. The bigger you risk, the bigger the reward, but also the larger you could fail. But if you another good book is Shoe Dog.
Shoe Dog.
Which is the story of Nike, the founder of Nike, and the whole time is him getting kicked in the teeth for many years, and then Nike.
Yeah, so I know there are more questions. We're gonna wrap it. I guess, do we have more time, or do we want to wrap it up, or?
I would like to say, so if anybody needs to leave, you can stop by this desk right here, and I'll sign your GED form. If you'd like to continue hearing them talk, you're free to stay here as well.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, have a great weekend, guys. We're gonna close it out. If you have more questions, just come up and ask.
There you guys have it. That was Mike and my presentation at UCF, how to make $1 million in your 20s. Now what you have to do is execute with this information. And if you want to reach out to Mike and I, let's say you have a business, you need investment, go to carolinecastillo.com. If you guys want to work with us, work with our agency, where we do email marketing on pure performance for e-commerce brands, go to emailonperformance.com. And I'll see you soon. Happy scaling.